Rocket Podcast is brought to you by Blackbird Tattoo and Piercing, 300 South State, Clearfield, Utah. Go there and get your lady parts pierced and then your armpit tattooed of a lady getting her lady parts pierced. That's an idea, just spitballing here, people, but I think it's a pretty goddamn good one. Don't you? Thank you all for tuning in to Rocket Podcast. You guys can always reach me at rocketpodcast@gmail.com or on any of the social media bullshits. Just direct message me, and I usually get back to people pretty fucking quickly. Oh, fuck a butt. Let's get started. There you go. That's the way to start the goddamn show. That song was Necrobaptism by Goathammer. All the bands that I played today, I'll post links and pictures of and stuff, so you guys can all reach out to them or buy merch and make sure you support them, because I don't play the fucking big deals. I don't play the Metallicas and the Megadeths and the Big Fours. I play that good old down home fucking small town, traveling around in a van. Band practice is every Saturday night, and I gotta leave the wife and kids at home and drink beers and make music with my friends, that kind of thing, because that's what I relate to. I don't need to, people don't need to promote the big guys anymore. They got A&Rs and shit, and they'll sponsor that. Anyway, that was a tangent I didn't mean to get off on, but I did anyway, so fuck it. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Mr. President of the Rocka Podcast. Happy birthday to me. Yep. Time has come. Time I've dreaded all my life. I am turning 40. 40. 40. 40. It's surreal. It's weird. I don't feel 30 or 40. When people see me, they think I'm like in my late 20s, early 30s, which is good. I don't know if that's because I'm short or if it's because I am young looking or devilishly handsome. I don't know. So don't ask me. I'm just, trying to crack my own fucking onion here. What? What? He said crack an onion? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm turning 40 Sunday. This Sunday. If I make it to this Sunday, I'll be 40 years old. 40 years on this earth. This flat, placid, desolate, all-incorporating, loving planet of ours, which is flat. I don't know if you guys heard me say flat. Yeah, man, what the fuck? It's weird. I have a son that is gonna be 22 in just a couple weeks, and I got two little guys, or three right now. And yeah, I'm turning 40, so that's gross. I remember when my mom turned 40. I kind of remember when my dad did. Not really well. Definitely remember when my mom turned 40. Oh, Christ. What do we do here, huh? What do we do with this old fuck? Well, Testosterone Nation had a really great article about lifting weights after you're 40. Weight training after you're 40. And it was really good. It was a real good article. So, basically, the main point of that article was train harder. Train harder, train longer. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep on training. I'm going to keep on doing this fucking show. Keep on working. And, yeah, man. I guess I'll just enjoy being old as shit now. And, my red beard turning white, slowly. One strand at a time. Christ. But I did write down a few notes. What have I learned over the years, my 40 years on this planet? So I did write down some notes, and none of these are really in particular order at all. But I do agree with all of them wholeheartedly. So let's get to them. Let's get to the list. Things I've learned in my 40 years of life. Say less, listen more. Ironic for a person that is running his own podcast out of his own kitchen. But yeah, say less, listen more. Take things in, be a little bit more aware. opening your mouth can sometimes get you in trouble. It can end friendships, and I don't know. Just, say less. Say the things that need to be said, and hold yourself to a standard, knowing that your face and your personality is your brand, and keep that in mind when you're not with people of your inner circle, tribe, what have you. Keep in mind with meeting with strangers or whoever outside of the people that you love and trust, that how you present yourself, how you talk, how you walk, how you behave with other people, that is your brand, and that will stick with people for a long, long time. So, remember that. Friendships are fleeting. Yeah. I grew up with some guys. I remember when I met them, I was on a three-wheeler. Or a big wheel. Sorry, a big wheel. If any of you guys are old as shit like me, you remember what a big wheel was. I had the Knight Rider big wheel. And it was fucking dope. It was so black and sleek as a motherfucker. And I used to ride that sumbitch all over the goddamn neighborhood. And there were some Samoan kids that grew up across the street from us. And I thought they'd always be in my life. I called their parents mom and dad. Hugged and kissed them when I saw them. Always at their house, them always at mine, that sort of thing. Just really in each other's lives for a long, long time. And what happens, You drift apart. And they stopped reaching out to me, so I stopped reaching out to them. And when I stopped reaching out to them, they really didn't reach out to me, so that's it, man. I don't know. Also, the lack of ambition amongst their family, with a few exceptions, mainly their oldest brother. Yeah, man. There's like, there's still some like under like the veil or underneath the surface kind of hurt over that, because I thought they'd always be in my life, and me and theirs, and that sort of thing. But what are you gonna do? And then I had some other friends that I thought would be my, like, quote unquote brothers. And just remember, friendships are fleeting, but blood is forever. The people you're related to, those are forever. Care about the people that will show up at your funeral and carry your casket, and the people that they love, and love them. Be a friend to your friends. Be friendly to your friends. Be loving to your friends. Repay laughter with laughter, Okay, moving on. Another thought I had: we honor our ancestors by what we do today. What we do today, will it be held in honorable regard to our ancestors? And if not, why? And it's kind of a thing that's more important than people really put value or weight on anymore. But I think amongst people that are in tribal families or tribal communities, it's coming back. And I think it's a good thing that it comes back. Because always know that your ancestors are with you no matter what you're doing. If you're shooting up heroin in a elementary school bathroom, or if you're Reading your 3-year-olds a little story about a bear. Whatever. Don't matter. Your ancestors are with you no matter what, because they're part of you. So honor them. They deserve it. Alright. Don't show your cards too early. Keep things to yourself a little bit. Keep opinions and comments and things. You don't have to, broadcast all of them. Keep some of them to yourself. Sit back, watch, and listen, and let people bury themselves with their own stupid words. And then, once the hammer falls, then you could say, well, I remember you saying this, that, and the other, so go fuck yourself. I've seen that happen way too many times. In fact, I'm guilty of it myself. But, don't share your cards to it. One that I'm going to steal from Master Chim. Not my people, not my problem. Take care of the people in your life. And fuck the rest. Take care of the people you're related to, people that have been your friends since, early on, people that have been with you through thick and thin. Don't worry about the goddamn Ethiopians with the flies on the eyeballs and shit. You don't know them, and you don't know if it's real. So, take care of the people in your life. It's like, I like to use this stupid little analogy myself. It's like you have this bag full of fucks, right? And you have a limited amount of fucks. And those are reserved for people that you're actually have a relationship with in your life. In this bag of fucks. So, reserve your fucks for people that are actually in your life. And for everyone else, it's not your people, it's not your problem. Don't give a fuck. And that's not like a racial thing or whatever. It's just the people in your life. They aren't your people if they aren't in your life. Care about the people in your life. So, that's what I mean by not my people, not my problem. I think that's a great policy to live by. Alright, never trust a politician, lawyer, or anyone who says the words, trust me. Everyone is selling you something. Everybody. No matter who it is. What am I selling you? By listening to this podcast, I'm selling you that underground, pissed off heavy metal is still really great. And treat the people in your life well. And celebrities are all cunts. So that's what I'm selling you. Because those are my sale points, I suppose. Tony Robbins would say. But never trust a politician. All of them are cunts. They're all cunts. They're all part of the big, same Franklin cover-up circle of pedophiles. All of them. Every one of them from left to right. Everything in between. I don't trust any of them. Don't trust any of them. Okay? A lawyer, because they're just there to make money and fuck you. None of them really believe in the Hippocratic Oath. They just want to win cases and make some money. And anyone that says the words trust me, if someone says the words trust me, don't trust them because they are saying trust me to get you to trust them because they know deep down they are an untrustworthy person. Your protection is your responsibility. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, learn how to fight, learn how to weapons train. If you become victimized or taken advantage of, that is on you, sister. It's not society's fault that things went bad for you. Your protection. Don't rely on fucking strangers to protect you. The police are strangers. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They're not going to risk life and limb for you. Okay? Your protection, you need to take into your own hands. Take responsibility. Be a fucking adult. Look after yourself. Okay? Here's one that I see a lot. Idea coming from something I see a lot of. And the second I'll read it, you're going to be like, oh yeah. Okay, here we go. Only share your problems with those who actually care about you. Keep your bullshit off social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Nobody cares about your pain. Nobody cares about your suffering except for the people in your life who are directly affected by your mental health. Everyone else could give a fuck. They may empathize a little bit, but they're not going to fucking reach deep down and go to your funeral or visit you in the hospital or give you a phone call, okay? Brad Pitt does not care that much about you. One that I'm getting from Jocko Willink. Discipline equals freedom. Set goals and execute. Set goals in life as far as success, as far as fitness, as far as relationship goals. Set them often. Don't share them with people. Don't go broadcasting them. Nobody needs to know on the internet. People in your life directly, that you're talking to, that actually give two shits about you, you could probably share with them. But don't share it with a whole bunch of strangers because it's not their concern, business, or interest. So all you're doing is just broadcasting that you're doing something. And if you fail, you already broadcasted it to the world. So, yeah, don't do that shit. And, the last one's real simple. Listen to more Hank Williams. Hank Williams Sr., King Country Music. Listen to his songs, his heartbreak, sad songs. Because he broke the mold, reinvented the wheel, and changed music forever. God damn, I didn't realize how long that was going to take. Well, I'll tell you what. God damn it. I lost my train of thought. Where'd it go? Hello, train of thought. What have you been doing? Okay. Let's just, yeah. Yeah, man, that was Wintaar. My Cold Paths. They did a split with Elegiac. I don't know how to say stuff. Anyway, they did a split with them. So it's Elegiac and Wintaar. Buy that shit. And yeah, man, that's one of the songs on it. I kind of like that ending, the like gothic sounding, like almost like monk singing in the background, kind of thing. I wonder if they use like a. I don't know. I've seen things in recording studios where you can echo the voices, so it can make 3 voices sound like 100. You know, that kind of thing. It's cool though. I really like how it's added into that song at the end. I enjoy that. So recently, I posted an article called I don't know what it was called. It was like Raising Boys, Don't Blame Our Boys, something like that. And it's basically about raising boys in our world, in Western society now. Toxic masculinity and the hashtag #MeToo bullshit and all these things. Just want to villainize boys for doing what is natural to boys. Wrestling, scrapping, climbing trees and scraping knees, getting into fights, being goofballs. This is all part of childhood development when it comes to boys. And when you find yourself in a situation with like a bully situation, you know, learning to stand up for yourself and protect yourself, that is very important. That's a very important life lesson that should not be squandered. And sorry, I needed a sip of beer. But it should not be villainized by anybody. Being a boy, being masculine, being strong, being proud, wanting to run faster, climb faster, lift more weights than the other kids, that's good. These are good things. Look at the society of boys that are being raised. And I don't want to generalize and say that, you know, this next generation are a bunch of pussies or, you know, that. Because I think every generation has done that to, you know, the next generation coming up. I'm sure the guys that fought in World War One thought that the kids growing up in World War Two were a bunch of pussies, you know, with their fucking swing dance and their, I don't know, whatever. And the guys that fought in World War Two probably thought the kids that they had were the kids that are coming up when they were, you know, adults. A bunch of fucking weirdo hippie fucks, you know? I know my grandfathers fought, well, one of them fought in Berlin, the other one fought in Korea. But one of them died before I even got to really know him. But the other one, yeah, he thought everyone was, the society was raising a bunch of fucking pussies. He saw the Vietnam War protests and that, you know? And his kids grew up in that generation, just, you know, a few years too young to really. They had to sign up for the draft, and they did sign up for the draft, but they didn't actually get called away. You know, one of them was my father. But yeah, like the generation right after that, you know, they're gonna think, oh, what a bunch of fucking weirdos, you know. And the guys that came back from Vietnam, and they see like the 70s and 80s, and all these fucking weird kids, and Boy George is on the TV, and what the fuck are these kids doing, you know. I'm sure that happens every generation. But by God, it seems like this is the weakest we have ever been. Ever. Villainizing masculinity. Luckily, I grew up in Utah, where it's still a time-honored tradition. But villainizing these things, who's going to fight your next wars for you? Who's going to, you know, make sure that America stays free? And America has to serve as the goddamn fucking police for the rest of the world. We're fucking daddy to everybody else. So who's going to do that? Who's going to serve that role? You know? It's like that Merle Haggard song, you know? You know, stand up for the Liberty Bell. Stop rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell, kind of deal. It's like that fucking song, man. It really reminds me of it when I talk about this kind of thing. So yeah, man. I don't think it's all. I think there are people that are raising their kids right and strong, and with pride and a sense of self and a sense of pride and a sense of country. I know I have 2 3-year-olds, and I'm gonna raise them that way. My son, my oldest son, who's gonna be 22 in 3 weeks. He had a situation where he had a bully in junior high. Well, he's had 2 situations where he had bullies. One of them, he was a little too young to deal with it, so me and him went over to that person's house, and I talked to the parents. And I confronted the kid in front of his parents. And it never happened again. Because that was my fucking role as a parent, to confront the other parent saying, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but your kid's up to some shit that's fucked up. So, when it was time for my son, around junior high age, to do something about his bully himself. You raise kids and you protect them until they're able to protect themselves. And I think that's around, like, age 12, 13. They're now able to protect themselves, right? Anyway, he gets to me. He sees me after school one day, and he says, hey Dad, there's this kid, he keeps fucking with me. That kind of thing, bullying me, whatever. What should I do? And I said, what you do is you do as many push-ups as you possibly can every day. And when you get to school, go to that pull-up bar in the gym that they have. You do as many pull-ups as you can every day. And you try to increase it every day. And you try to increase those push-ups. And you try to increase those pull-ups. And you keep doing that shit. And you keep doing it every day. Stay consistent. And when that kid fucks with you again, I want you to unleash hell. I want you to bust his fucking face open. You have my permission. What happened was, my kid took my advice. Started doing tons of push-ups, tons of pull-ups. And he got on the wrestling team. Well, that kid walked into the gym one day and saw my son going crazy, doing crazy pull-ups, just going at the bar, doing it, getting it done. And the kid didn't want to fuck with him all of a sudden. The kid, who was quote-unquote the bully, was impressed. And was like, God damn, I didn't know you could do all those pull-ups. And they start talking. And they start chatting. And based off of that, they become friends. Can you imagine that? They become friends. I can't think of a more positive solution. I've always taught my sons, I always teach my sons, I still have 2 little guys. Think for yourself, defend yourself, And, if he would have had to get into a scrap with that kid, I would have been fine with it. And I would have went into the principal's office and I would have defended him. But this other kind of out of nowhere, out of left field result came of it, and I couldn't have been happier. And I believe they're still friends to this day. So, ponder that. Take into consideration what to do with the whole bully situation. Recently there was a post made by a mother, who was videotaping her quote-unquote son crying about how he wants to die because he's a dwarf and he's a child and he's in school, and kids keep fucking with him. And this kid's going on and on for a few minutes, crying, talking about how he wants to die. And the mom's just videotaping it. She doesn't hug him, she doesn't console him, she doesn't do anything. And it pissed me off. I was like, well, who the fuck is this mom? Her little guy is, crying and distraught over the situation, and he's talking about how he wants to die, and she's not comforting him in any way, shape, or form. She's just bitching at whoever the audience members are. Well, breaking news. As it turns out, that kid was not a kid. He's actually 18 years old. Christ, I don't remember his name. He's Australian. Something silly. Something Australian sounding. Quaden Bales. And it's like a debate going on right now if he was really 9 years old or if he's really 18 years old. There's pictures of him like in front of a BMW holding money and like all this kind of fucking bling bling hip hop attitude bullshit thing. And also, is he really 9 years old? It doesn't really matter to me, because I didn't donate a fucking dime, because I don't know him. I don't know him. He's not in my life. I'm not terribly concerned about him. What I'm concerned about is the person who is videotaping him while he was crying and distraught, talking about how he wants to die, just sitting there, not comforting him in any way, shape, or form. So it leads me to wonder, was this an act, or was it not? Does it really matter to me? Not really. But let's say it was a mother-son scenario. Her son's going on, he's being bullied, he's sad, he's crying, he wants to die. The mom just goes on videotaping it. What the fuck kind of mother is this? Where she's not even comforting her child, who she gave birth to, giving him a hug. Turn the goddamn camera off and console the guy. Make him feel better. And in the scenario in which this was all bullshit, anyone who donated money to this scenario, to this situation, deserves to lose their money. You don't give money away to strangers you don't fucking know. You give it to your family members if you need to give it away. And if you don't have it give away, you don't fucking give it away. This is why our country went into a goddamn recession. You don't piss money away you don't fucking have. Ah, Christ. I'll tell you, if my kid came out of school, was distraught, crying, talking about how he wants to die, I wouldn't videotape it. I would comfort him. And then I'd go into the school and I would kick people's fucking asses. I would tear that school down. I would go after everybody in that school until people were made to be accountable. We're almost out of time for part 1. Catch you back on part 2.